Science fiction readers dismiss Greys as unoriginal, and rightly so. What are the odds that evolution on an alien world would combine intelligence with the same body plan as it did on Earth? After all, the smartest species on our world come in all shapes and sizes: elephants, dolphins, octopuses, crows. Surely planets with vastly different conditions, higher gravity, say, or closer proximity to a star, would give rise to vastly different sorts of creatures. For a century, science fiction writers have taken this consideration to heart, giving us aliens with all manner of sensory organs, appendages, and styles of locomotion. Cinema, too, has aspired to originality from time to time. The xenomorphs of Alien, the parasite from The Thing. But not even the slavering xenomorphs, a fixture of pop culture, have inspired as many nightmares as the Greys, those small, pale visitors from Zeta Reticuli who read minds and experiment on dairy farmers. That's a puzzle, though. Greys don't look like apex predators. They look like sickly nerds. Stories about them sometimes mention stalking, home invasion, kidnapping, and uncomfortable medical procedures, but rarely, if ever, torture or murder or acts of equal brutality. These starfarers seem curious at best and callous at worst, but never sadistic or cruel. Certainly not cruel enough to justify people's deep fear of them. Some people feel the Greys' human likeliness is the source of our anxiety, that they're just askew humanoid features, bulbous heads, tiny mouths, pitch-black eyes, trigger an ancient reflex we have toward outsiders. Yet myths are full of creatures that look or act like we do, from angels to the AOS sigh of Irish fairy tales, and it's doubtful those creatures inspired a tenth as much fear in their heyday as Greys inspire now. Others believe the Greys scare us because everyone, even skeptics, shares a tiny shred of credence that aliens have really been here, that we are not alone. Aliens don't violate the laws of physics after all, and the universe is pretty big. But the plausibility of aliens can't be the main source of fear, since many of the people who believe in Greys also believe in gods and spirits with far greater powers, and often far greater ill will, but aren't as bothered by those. I suspect the reason Greys are so creepy is that their behavior toward us puts a low ceiling on our place in nature's pecking order. Their cold disregard for our property rights and bodily integrity reminds us of our similar treatment of animals, which rests on our view of them as too low status to justify moral concern. We primates care a lot about status, and Grey behavior tells us that in the cosmic scheme, we're not much more important than the creatures we eat. It's telling that the only other terrestrial species Greys seem curious about is cows. Consider that the Greys, if they exist, have little interest in sharing their insights with us, or engaging with our institutions, or knocking on the door before coming into our homes at 2 in the morning. They act just as we do when studying an ant colony. We don't try to learn the ants' language or secure the permission of their queen to observe them. We do whatever we want with them. We might even abduct a few for arcane purposes. If Greys were sadistic, we could at least take comfort in our moral superiority over them. We would also take a grim sort of pride in the notion that they're willing to travel light years to play out their sick fantasies on us. Instead, we find ourselves relegated to scientific curiosities, ones whose bowels command more interest than our brains. If the governments of the world doubt the public could handle the truth, maybe that's why. For the sake of our egos, let's hope the Greys are our time-traveling descendants instead.